time is now. Welcome back to the Time is Now podcast. Thank God we could be here together today. On this podcast, we speak to entrepreneurs from all industries and figure out what makes them tick, where they came from, what business means to them, and how they achieve success. I'm Dr. Slava Shut, a doctor of physical therapy, serial entrepreneur, and your host. Hi, everybody. I'm very super duper excited to have our special guest today, Dr. Olayinka Holt. Dr. Holt is a physician, real estate investor, medical director, and author. She's a CEO of ProMerit Investments, a business that helps clients set investment goals in real estate. I'm so excited to chat with you today, so let's get into it. Dr. Holt, as also a doctor, I know my journey and how I've gone through real estate and having a practice. Tell us about your journey as a medical provider and someone who's moved into real estate. And what does your journey look like? What does it feel like? How do these worlds overlap?
Thank you, Dr. Slava. It's been very interesting and very intriguing at the same time. As you know, patient care is very demanding, especially if you really have your heart in taking care of patients, which I do. But I think overall, the common goal that cuts across everything is having the heart to serve, the mind to serve. As a physician, I am serving my patients. As a real estate investor, I'm also serving my clients and my investors who are investing with me and helping them to achieve financial freedom, especially physicians, because we are heavily taxed in everything that we do. How I got into real estate was that when I started my business in 2014, I had no clue, I had no idea how much taxes I'm getting myself into. And coming out of medical school and fellowship, I came out with $450,000 debt.
Wow.
On top of that, I knew no better. They told me, oh, you have to buy a home so you can, you can save taxes. So I rushed and I bought a home a year after. So now I have another $350,000 home on top of my $450,000 debt. And I'm thinking, oh my God, when am I ever going to finish paying these loans?
Never.
And so my first job out of fellowship was an employed position, right? Because I didn't know whatever to do then. And then 2 years into the contract, when I signed a 2-year contract, and then my boss told me at the very last day of my contract that he's going to have to cut my salary by $70,000 because he didn't make money in the 2 years that I worked with him. So I'm like, who does that? Everybody have an increase 2 years after they've worked. How am I going to get a pay cut and I have all these loans? He's like, well, that's your productivity. You didn't have no productivity. So, I'm going to have to cut your salary. So I said, no, I knew we were not making money. I didn't know how bad it was, but I presented this to you earlier and you didn't want to ruffle no feathers. So you didn't want to make any change. We would have made money had it been you make the changes that I recommended. But since you didn't do that, why should I be the one paying for it now? So I said, okay, I'm not going to renew the contract. Guess what? He said, but you signed a non-compete. And I'm going, what? A non-compete? Yeah, you signed a non-compete. So if you're not going to sign this contract, that means you cannot practice within a 25-mile radius of where all the clinics that you go for me are. I said, but I just bought a house. I can't move. Well, it's up to you. So in that case, you're going to have to sign the contract. I said, no, I'm not going to sign. So I thought it was a joke. The next thing I knew, he went to court. He got a restraining order on me. I couldn't practice medicine, not just the nephrology. I couldn't practice medicine. I couldn't do nephrology until I get myself out of this restraining order. I had no money to pay the lawyers who are asking for $25,000 to $30,000 down payment before they even look at the case. And all of this was happening. I'm like, my world is crumbling before me. If only I had other means of income. If only I have other source of income, I won't be going through what I'm going through. The first thing I did was get rid of my medical insurance, because I figure if I got rid of that, at least I can pay my mortgage for that month, because I had no savings. I was trying to pay down my debt, just like everybody advised, oh, pay down your debt. So I was rushing to pay down my debt in both places. So I had no savings. I had nothing. And I'm going, there must be a better way to do this.
Right.
I got to figure this out. So one of the friends, colleagues that I was talking to say, well, I hear that some people do real estate and they do very well with it. And I'm like, real estate? Okay. But I know nothing about real estate. So what did I do? Anyway, I got myself out of the restraint order somehow or the other. I started working and paying the lawyers $25,000 every month to represent me, to get out of this non-compete, because I had no money to pay. I'm doing hospitalist job because I don't even have anything else to do. I'm just trying to survive. Then I thought about, okay, well then let me just open my practice since the court thing is ongoing. And then that's the first thing that hit me. Every quarter, I had to write a check between $36,000 and $50,000 every quarter. Otherwise, I'm going to be slapped with $190-something thousand tax at the end of the year. So when I put all of that into perspective, I'm like, is this a life that doctors live? How can they even survive? And everybody look at us as if we're printing money.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't even pay my rent. I can't pay my mortgage. That month when I was sued, my church had to give me money to balance my mortgage.
Wow. Wow.
What kind of life is that? After all the sacrifice of going through medical school? And in my case, it's not even just going to medical school. Before I came to United States at all, I did a master's in organic chemistry. I started a PhD in organic chemistry and pharmacognosy. So all my life, all I know is read. But who teaches physicians the money aspect of medicine?
Nope.
Nobody. Then I found out all these physicians that I'm looking up to, they live off of line of credit. Their line of credit, you don't own the money. The money is not yours. You live in a fake life.
Right.
So back to basics. Now I have to come back to basics and learn about money, how to save, how to generate income. And that's how I found myself going online, talking to people, doing real estate. So I started my first real estate, a grounds up acquisition. I bought the land. I got the architect to draw my plan that I want. I got a contractor to do the building for me, and I built a 16 unit from ground up. But in my home country, now I have to figure how to get into the American system now that I've learned how to do this and see, and make it work and profitable. So after I took out all the money that I invested, now I'm beginning to see how much my income is. And that's how I started to learn real estate. From there on, I started investing, but I started with, as a passive investor in United States. I started with Realty Mogul and some other ones that I did syndication with. So as I'm speaking to you right now, I'm heavily invested passively. I have $2,085
Wow.
as a passive investor. But now I'm getting into the operating part of real estate. Now I'm GP in some deals. And so, but the road has not been very smooth. It's been very rocky and very rough, but all I can say is it's doable. Wherever there's a will, there's a way.
Right. So, this is a perfect example as an entrepreneur, as somebody who, what I would call what you did, and I say this often in my teachings, is it's called a pivot shift, right?
Yes.
You could have easily stayed, right? Because your mindset was just like the public's mindset. The public's mindset is the moment you graduate a medical degree, somebody just hands you money and you're all of a sudden a millionaire, like, which is not true. But even you were on the inside. You bought the same nonsense. You were like, oh, I graduated 350, 450. I have a job.
Yeah.
Everything's beautiful. And then you find out you're just like everybody else, except you just make a little bit more money,
But
And
worse, because my lifestyle
right,
is not even commensurate with how much I'm making.
right.
I bought into it and I bought a home when I should be renting.
Right.
When people come out of school, the first thing they should do is leave 1/10 of how much they're earning, save as much as they can, invest that money so that their money can begin to make more money for them. But instead, what do? We tie money down in equity, thinking that we're making money on a home that we bought. A home is not a business. It's a liability.
Yeah. That's
I
beautiful.
found that out the hard way.
Yeah, you did. But, being smart and being resourceful, being a fighter, you decided to pivot and shift and go to a different direction. So, let's say I'm a newbie, right? I'm fresh out of school. I don't really have a lot of money. How, it doesn't even make sense to me, right? How do I become an investor in real estate? How should I start? And does it depend on budget? Tell me, as a newbie, how do I start? Tell me, Doc.
So the first thing is network. Find people, make a lot of friends, especially people that have a job and can invest, because you don't need to use your own money. Leverage other people's money.
What?
Yes, leverage other people's money. Make sure you make a list of all the friends that you have that have a job that at least make $50,000 that they can save up some money. Make a list of all of those. Start talking to them about real estate. Then at the same time, begin to educate yourself. Because without proper education, you get into real estate, you're going to fail. So once you have those two things in place, now you begin to learn, and then you start, looking at deals. Then you have to also enroll in some mentorship, because that will fast track everything for you. What I did when I started, even though I started with the building in Nigeria, I started with Big Dogs. Have you heard about Big Dog program? They are single family resident, and they talk about, loan assumption and what is it called again? Assumption of mortgage, that kind of stuff. That's what they do. But I quickly realized that I don't have the time to make 2,000 calls to make one deal.
Right.
Because everybody's competing for the same deal that they're doing. So, but I would always attend every single lecture that they put up. Every webinar that they say is available for free, I attended. So I attended one for storage. I attended one for mobile home parks, RV park. I attended one for IRAs and 401k, so that you can do self-directed IRA. I attended one for oil and gas investing. I attended one for notes, distress debt, and hedge funds and everything. I attended everything that was free. So I was just getting knowledge here and there, here and there. Then the next one I did was bigger pockets. I did bigger pockets. I listened to all their lectures. I attend their webinars. I read the book. Then I started buying duplexes in United States.
Wow.
So the way bigger pocket thought is, if you just make it a point that if you buy one duplex now, in the next 6 months, whatever money you make from there, use it for the deposit to buy another duplex. If you want to house hack, you can house hack in one and then rent the other one. Well, how many places am I going to house hack? and then you can't really scale it. Duplexes. And so I bought a bunch of duplexes. I bought a bunch of triplexes. Now I'm getting rid of my duplexes and triplexes because now I'm doing the bigger deals.
Right.
But again, that is the power of knowledge. Don't settle. Once you get one kind of knowledge, always see how you can improve yourself and learn more and learn more and learn more. The millionaire mindset, the billionaire mindset, they don't sleep. They're always looking for ways to make their lives better and easier. But you have to do the work first before you start to enjoy. And I think this is the time. Now is the time to start. There's no better time than now.
I love those sentiments. The time is now. You are amazing. Thank you for plugging the show too. I know you probably didn't mean it, Doc, but it's so beautiful what you just did. And for the audience, the time is now. You're going to hear a lot of hype. You're going to hear a lot of people that do not own real estate, that have no information about real estate and have no experience, tell you, no, right now is not the time to buy. It's horrible. Wait until this, wait until that. The markers, stop it. Okay. You have an expert right here telling you who has 2,000 plus doors, who has been through the ringer, who's learned the hard way, who's attended the classes, who's learned, who's studied, and is telling you real estate.
The time is now.
Right now.
Real estate is the real deal. Every big organization on Wall Street, they have real estate backing their investment.
Right. So what do you see?
The Blackstones, the BlackRock, the whatever, all of them, they all have real estate backing their investment that they have on Wall Street.
And by the way, some of those big giant conglomerates are now dumping actually a lot of real estate because some of their low interest rates have jumped after the last 20, 30 years, and now they're dumping. So there's actually a lot of real estate coming up that's just being thrown out of there off the books of some of these huge trillion-dollar companies. So where do you see the future of real estate investing? Well, how do you see it coming up in the near future? Are there any changes that you see? And where do you see a multifamily fitting in?
Multifamily is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. People gonna need houses. People need apartments to live. And especially when the interest rate is so high and they can't afford their own houses. I mean, unfortunately, America has become a rental society. So this is the time. Real estate, multifamily is here to stay. It's gonna be making tons of money, whether people like it or not. It's just that you have to do your homework. Make sure the deal is right. Don't sacrifice location for the cost of what you're going to pay for it. Leverage people's money. Do your homework very well. Do very, very conservative underwriting. What killed those real estate and those big moguls that you're talking about is because they didn't do a perfect underwriting. They did not stress the deal enough. The deal was good because at that time, the interest rates were good. But had they look at the worst case scenario and the best case scenario, and they have 10 other scenarios in between, they probably wouldn't have been in the predicament that they are in.
Right. It's very true. It's so important what you said, because, for whatever reason, the American philosophy is not like us who came from different countries who have horrific things in their countries, is why we left in the first place. And we're instilled this work ethic and this ability to shift gears when times are tough. And for whatever reason, the average American doesn't have that capacity. And, so what is something they have to do mindset wise to change the mindset? Because the young people, the average American, for some reason they feel so safe, and now for the first time in so long they don't feel safe, and now they're contracting, they're hiding, they can't break fruit, they're scared, because before it was a land of plenty, there's nothing to worry about, what could happen, right? And now we're seeing, when you have poor management in this country, and what's happening around the world. And now Americans don't feel so safe all of a sudden. What do? How do you have that mindset? How do you shift from I'm so safe to now I'm so super scared? And how do I get out of myself to do something better?
I think everything has to start from the grassroots. Parents need to start educating their children and not hand everything to them on a platter of gold. You see, those children feel so entitled. The same thing happened in my country, by the way. Children whose parents are very wealthy, children who were born with silver spoons in their mouth, they don't do good. They don't do well because they have that, oh, everything is abundant. Everything is there for me. So they don't struggle. Right. But parents have that responsibility of putting it in their children that even though we have, you still have to go out there and hustle. Right. I left home when I was 16 years old to go to college, and I've never been back home. I know some African Americans do that with their children. Once the children are 18, they tell them to go and live on their own, but you haven't given them the armamentarium to survive out there.
Right.
You have to lay the foundation for them to be able to build something upon when they leave to go and be on their own. That mindset is what needs to happen in the home front from when children are little. Don't just give them everything. Make them work for whatever income or whatever pocket money you're going to give them. My children have to do chores before I give them money.
Yes.
Yes, because that's how I grew up. Whatever you work for is what is going to stay with you. When things are handed over to you, it doesn't last. It's so ephemeral.
Right.
It's a cliche. Unfortunately, it is the truth. When people work hard, they tend to hold on to what they get from their hard work. But when something is handed to you on a platter of gold, you don't value it. And that's where the mindset shift has to happen. People have to start thinking, okay, I have to work for this. I have to get this, not that I deserve to have this. That entitlement is what is killing America.
It sounds to me that you're saying that some struggle and some hardships and hard work are actually good?
That is exactly true.
Wow. That's amazing, Doc.
That is exactly true. Look at the whole world today. Every single successful person had some kind of hardship before they finally made it.
That's right. That's right.
So that's where the mind shift and the mindset have to be.
So there's a fun thing that I like to do with all my guests is I like to put you on the spot a little bit and say, what is a hot topic that you've been wanting to talk about that maybe you want to get off your chest? I like to have a little spice, in the podcast and ask your opinion of something out there that's a hot topic that you're just dying to talk about.
That is interesting.
Anything. It doesn't have to be real estate. It doesn't have to be medicine. Anything around the globe from your experience, you're like, this is a hot topic. I'd love to talk about this.
The what is it called? The black ceiling that they have for African Americans and especially women.
Yeah.
It's a very, very hard way that people of color have to go through to get through to things. I mean, I picture myself, when I said I joined all those memberships, it's because I have some money to do that. Right. What about people who didn't have money to join those memberships? Nope. Because there's a ceiling that unfortunately is not written, but colored people are not supposed to get there. Women are not supposed to get there. I came from a country where women are only supposed to be seen, not heard. Right. Thank God my dad didn't believe in that. And that's how I was able to achieve a very high education that I had, because my dad believed that whatever is good for a man is good for a woman. So he told me, You can go to the highest level you want to be. You want to be a professor? Go for it.
Right.
I'll sponsor you. But we have some all over the world, countries that still subdue women, that women cannot do certain things. That needs to change. We have, even in the United States, they said it's not a racist, racism is not here anymore. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing that. Racism is still very much there. There's still certain things that Black people, colored people cannot achieve.
Right.
That needs to change.
So
it's a very heavy thing on my heart, because even as a physician, I know how hard I had to work to prove myself, even among my peers, for them to accept me. Am I supposed to be dumb because I'm colored?
right.
Is it not the same God that created us and gave us brains?
Amen.
Why am I being looked down upon? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Accept me for who I am. Respect me for the brain that God gave me. Respect me for my contribution that I'm making to the society. That has been something very heavy. And I told my children, don't think America is the land of freedom.
Right.
Because you're going to be slammed. Don't walk in the path of where they're going to pick you up because of, what is that word that I'm looking for? Racial profiling.
Right.
My son, when he was going to high school, he went to school in Bed-Stuy. Horrible.
Right.
By 4 o'clock when it's dark in wintertime, he can't come out because he'll be profiled. So I had to tell him to wait in school. When I finish from my residency, I'll go pick him up. Otherwise, they will pick him up. I mean, that's horrible. When he came, he thought America was a land of, no. There's no freedom here. You learn to behave yourself. And I tell, look, make sure you don't go to jail, because if they pick you up, I'm not coming to get you there. My mom didn't come to get me from the jail. My mom didn't come to bail me from nowhere. So just tell them you don't have parents anymore. If they ever pick you up, you're going to rot in there, because I'm warning you. And when you train children like that, they learn and they behave themselves. I thank God that my children listened. And today I have 3 beautiful children. One of them finished her master's in public relations, and she's doing her podcasting with Spotify right now.
Wow.
She entered a competition of 3,000 Spotify applicants, and she came out number 1. My second son, he's doing investment banking with JP Morgan. He's just finishing his MBA.
Wow.
My third one, 13-year-old, he's a stockbroker. He has his own has his own stock brokerage account on Robinhood.
He's a day trader?
Yes, he's day trading. He's doing options trading. 13-year-old.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
He is acting like JP Morgan right now.
Thank you.
You know they're playing their options. They're not doing regular stocks. They're doing hardcore options trading, and
Yes.
they're way above public percentages.
Exactly.
So that is incredible. And you know where it starts? With you. It starts with you, and you're an inspiration, and you're an example. And I believe that whoever is watching this from the audience that is of color and is a foreigner, that this is an inspiration to you. Yes, there are challenges, but you can see that you can overcome. And the best way to change society is for you to be successful. So you could blame anybody you want. You could blame the system. You could blame the man. You could blame whoever you want. The best way to prove everybody wrong is to be successful. And the only way to be successful is to go for it, chase your dreams, take action, and move forward, because there are great, amazing people that have done it. And they didn't stop. They didn't make excuses. They just worked. And the way to change your environment is to be successful and go into your environment and teach others to be successful too.
Yes. Speaking of teaching, I kind of wanted to put everything in a book for people to read.
Oh.
not so much my life per se, although I wanted to write an autobiography, but I picture if I put it as a fiction book to empower women, it would probably mean more to anybody reading it. So I wrote a book called The Walk, and it's to empower women. And it's a book about 3 generations of women who would not take no for an answer, and they want their voice to be heard, and they made a tremendous change in their world. It is called The Walk. It's coming to Amazon at the end of this month. Let me show you one second.
Please.
This is the book.
Can you raise it up a little bit? I want everybody to see every inch of this book, because this is, again, an inspiration and examples of what winning looks like right here. This is sincere, this is real, and everybody, this is a great plug, Doc. You know, we're gonna see it at Amazon. You can contact us here, and we'll put you in touch. And I definitely want everybody out there to get this book. I want this to be a #1 seller as soon as it comes out.
Thank you, Dr. Slava.
So please add anything else, plug away. How do people find you? If somebody, you know, a female, a Black female, anybody that wants to like learn from you and use your example, how do they get a hold of you? How does somebody learn from you?
I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm going to put my LinkedIn. Oh, where did it go? This is me.
Oh, awesome. Modern technology, isn't it amazing? Can you bring it over to your right a little bit? That's it. That's it. I want everybody to get a good look at this. Amazing. So QR code, modern technology, awesome. Everybody scan that. I want to go viral. I want to go like just blow up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there any last words of wisdom that you can leave us? I'd love to leave on a positive note, on a wisdom note. Give me some golden nuggets, please, Doc.
Quit adding time to achieve solutions. Time is money. Now is the time. There's no better time to get into real estate. There's no better time to do something better for your life. There's no better time to start to create generational wealth and financial freedom.
Amazing. Bam. That's fire. That's like mind-blowing. My mind just exploded. I hope yours did too. It's been incredible, Doc. I can't wait to speak to you again and know how well the book did. So you're an inspiration to children and to grown-ups and to people of color and foreigners, Americans everywhere, because you are the American dream. You are the inspiration, and this is what this country has been founded on. It's a melting pot of amazing people who have come here and changed the world and changed the environment for the better. And you are an example, and we thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Slava. Thanks for having me, and I wish you all the best. This is a very, very excellent podcast. You're giving people opportunity, and you have no idea what you're doing. But getting people to, you know, giving people a voice, it's something that it's very, very rare. And I thank you for this opportunity.
Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening, make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you for listening to The Time Is Now with me, Dr. Slava Shut. Remember to tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. and send in your questions to Dr. Slava Shut on Twitter. Thank you, thank you, thank you.